Hey, shalom, shalom, brother Bakwash, back on that scene, back on that YouTube social media scene. Got something on my mind. Got something on my mind the day before the 4th of July. You know, tomorrow's the 4th of July or July, and a lot of you so-called Negroes, you're going to be out there barbecuing. You're going to be out there buck dancing and acting the fool, getting drunk, eating bad food, getting fat, getting lazy, getting more hypnotized by the lies of America and what you've been taught since you were a child into adulthood, that all men are created equal and that you still have a chance that America will change. And you're going to believe the lie. You're going to fornicate. You're going to commit adultery. You're going to shoot, stab, and kill one another. Some of you will get drunk and fight and become uncontrollable. Some women are going to be in attire appearing as whores and sluts and sexually deviants. You're going to have all these things going on for a fake holiday that has nothing to do with you. And some of you are going to believe the lies that the founding fathers had your forefathers in their hearts, that they should be loved and that their best interest was towards the so-called Negroes who are still slaves at this time, and that these were upright men in spirit. I got a friend, me and him got into an argument. He said the founding fathers of this country were good Christians. We argued and went back and forth until I came to the conclusion that this brother, who I love, is insane. He's insane. But let's go into it. Let's talk about it. Let's go into it. To you famous statements, racist, evil statements from some of the founding fathers, as well as men that we were taught were great men in American history, who in actuality were wicked men and had racist views towards so-called blacks and pretty much anybody who wasn't a white man or a white woman or child. See, this is what I say. This is why I say that there's no new thing under the sun, that America will always be a racist, evil country. It will always be that. It will always be that, and it will never change. Here you're gonna stuff your fat mouths with all kind of chicken and pork and fish in commemoration of a country that was stolen, and your forefathers were brought here to work as slaves for free labor by racist, evil men who they claim were great men in American history. This is Benjamin Franklin. He says, the Post attributed to the following remarks to Franklin. Again, it says the Post attribute to the following remarks of Franklin. It says, why increase the sons of Africa? Again, it says, why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America? By planting them in America, where we have so fair an opportunity by excluding all blacks and tawnies, meaning people of color, of increasing the lovely white and red. This is Ben Franklin. By excluding all the blacks and tawny, of increasing the lovely white and red. This quote comes from a 1751 essay entitled Observation Concerning the Increase of Mankind Here. The passage is visible at the end of the essay. Ben Franklin, recognized as a great American, but this is part of the 4th of July. This is who you think of, or you're supposed to think of, as far as the 4th of July in this great country called America. The great America. Let's go to the great Thomas Jefferson. It says, the Post attributes the following comments to Jefferson. Again, it says the Post attribute the following comments to Jefferson. I advanced it, therefore, as a suspicion only, that the blacks, whether originally a distinct race or made distinct by time or circumstances, are inferior to whites in endowment of both body and mind, or made distinct by time or circumstances. Again, it says that blacks, whether originally a distinct race or made distinct by time or circumstances, it says, are inferior to whites in the endowments of body and mind. Jefferson made these remarks in Notes on the State of Virginia, published in 1785. Here, the full text is available. The full text is available here. Thomas Jefferson, recognized as a great white American. Recognized as a great white American and one of the forefathers of this country, this great God-fearing country, Thomas Jefferson. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Now let's go to Honest Abe Lincoln. This is a few hundred years ahead of time. Well, in the 1800s. Not the 1700s. But let's go to old Honest Abe and let's see what beautiful words he had towards you so-called Negroes. You know how you love Abraham Lincoln. It says, the Post attributes the following quote to Lincoln. There is a physical difference between the white and black race. Again, it says there is a physical difference between the white and black race, the black race. A difference. This is what old Honest Abe is saying, Abraham Lincoln. It says, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together. You see that? Again, it says, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together. Which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together. While they do remain together, they must be a position of superior and inferior. Look at that. I bet a lot of you never heard this before. I saw this years ago. I have the book. I have the book on the issue. But anyway, it says, while they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior. And I, as much as any man, am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. To the white race. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. But it's the hard truth. It's a hard truth. It says Lincoln made these remarks during one of a series of debates in 1858 with Stephen Douglas, when the men were varying of control of the Illinois General Assembly. Good old Honest Abe. Good old Honest Abe. He says, And as much as any man, I am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. To the white race. You think these devils in D.C., you think these congressmen, you think these mayors don't feel the same way today? Here's an article from the Washington Post. It says, Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence, wrote in his 1789 book, Notes on the State of Virginia, that blacks were a distinct and inferior species. That blacks were a distinct and inferior species when compared to whites. This was the great Thomas Jefferson wrote. A rapist. He says, 1 year later, Jefferson joined the other founding fathers in supporting the Naturalization Act of 1790, which made citizenship in the United States available only to free white persons. During the Lincoln-Douglas debate in 1858, Abraham Lincoln proclaimed that if he had all the powers in the world, he would gladly send every black person in America back to Africa. Back to Africa. Again, it says 1 year later, Davis joined the other founding fathers in supporting the Naturalization Act of 1790, which made citizenship in the United States available only to free white persons. Free white persons. During the Lincoln-Douglas debates of 1858, Abraham Lincoln proclaimed that if he had all the powers in the world, he would gladly send every black person in America back to Africa, because he did not believe the two races could live together in the United States. He didn't believe that you so-called Negroes and Edomites, so-called white people, could live together in the United States. This is how he felt. This is how he felt. Because he did not believe that the two races could live together in the United States. In fact, Lincoln pursued reparating black Americans to Africa in his plan to bring the South back into the Union. But you said he had felt sorry for the so-called blacks and the slaves who were whipped, raped, castrated, hung, lynched, burned, fried. You said that was the reason for the War of Independence. Doesn't look like that to me. But yet you're gonna stuff your faces with pork and shrimps and hot dogs on the barbecue grill. You're gonna drink Henny and Grey Goose and wines and fornicate in the name of these great white men who freed you, who loved you, who signed the Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal. That's right. That's right. This is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. I like this paragraph. It says, critical race theorists point to these racist ideals and the policy positions that flowed from them as evidence that systematic racism against people of color is baked deeply into the United States constructions. Baked deeply into the United States construction. So layer after layer after layer after layer consists of systemic racism that will never, never, never go away. You can march, sing, barbecue, get drunk, hold hands, go to concerts together. The racism is so deep in this country that it will never, ever, ever go away. Check this out. It says, on July 4th, 1776, when the Continental Congress adopted the historic text drafted by Thomas Jefferson, they did not intend it to mean individual equality. Again, it says, on July 4th, 1776, when the Continental Congress adopted the historic text drafted by Thomas Jefferson, they did not intend it to mean individual equality. It wasn't made for you so-called Negroes or North American Indians or Seminole Indians. Rather, what they declared was that the American colonists, so you so-called Negroes, were you an American colonist at that time, or were you a slave? The North American Indians, were you a colonist, or were you butchered in your land taken from you as these devils move further and further west beyond the 13 colonies? It says, rather, what they declared was that the American colonists as a people had the same rights to self-government as other nations. That doesn't include you so-called Negroes. That don't include you. You were the N-word, and that's all you were. That's all you were. American colonists as a people. That's who the Declaration of Independence was for. That's who was considered equal. American colonists as a people had the same right to self-government as other nations. Which shows just how stupid you look barbecuing. It shows how stupid you look calling yourself an American. And this racism still exists today. Your enemies still believe that you differ from them. Whether in the physical, whether in the spiritual, whether as in the mental, they still believe you differ from them. Wake the hell up. So this 4th of July, sit your behind in the house and watch reruns of Good Times or listen to music. And stop acting like I gotta watch what I say because of YouTube. Sit your behind down, man, and calm down. Read your scriptures or get with brothers and enjoy the day off. Because it's back to the slave house tomorrow or the day after the 4th of July for some of you. It's Brother Baquat signing out. Something on the brother's mind. Shalom.